Hello everyone and welcome to this month's featured Tipster slot. October was the 6th consecutive month of profit for the master plan from Punt Hub, which would actually be 9 consecutive months if you're still able to get bog. The month we didn't show a profit on Tipstars at advised prices was a loss of just 1/4 of a point. The master plan has now completed a year on Tipstars and is fast approaching 150 points profit in that time. And this is at advised prices and to flat 1 point stakes. The return on investment in the last year has been close to 9%, and the service has doubled its original recommended starting bank. Unfortunately, the man behind the service has proved to be a little microphone shy, but he has provided us with a written interview, which you can read in full on the featured Tipster page at www.tipstars.tips. In his place, I'm delighted to be joined today by Ben, the founder of Punt Hub, the platform that manages the master plan amongst other services. Hello and welcome, Ben.
Hi Chris and everyone listening. My name's Ben and I run Punt Hub along with the help of my business partner Tom.
Okay, Ben, it's great to have you on, and we're talking to you today rather than the man providing the information for the master plan for the reasons I've already outlined. So without giving too much away, can you tell us how you first had contact with the guy behind the master plan and anything about his background?
I believe I was first approached by Nick around August 2018. He said that he'd built a few profitable systems and he just wanted to get them out to a wider audience, basically. At the time, he was working for one of the industry's leading bookmakers. I won't say who. And he basically just had no idea where to even start, like providing a service to the public or how to get his tips out there. So he came to us here at Punt Hub and asked us if we could take the service on and give it a trial, and he approached us with 12 months worth of previous results for the system, and the figures stood out as a service with great potential. So September of 2018 we took it on trial, and after I believe it was 2 months we passed it with flying colours. So some 14 months later the service has proved to be a roaring success.
Yeah, and the numbers I quoted there at the beginning obviously bear that out. How much contact do you have with the tipster between receiving the selections each day? Do you have much contact in between?
I mean, I talk to him every couple of days. There's no real reason to talk to him every day. I mean, the guy's busy with his full-time job. Me and Tom are busy running Punt Hub, so I tend to talk to him every couple of days. I mean, just to keep a check and see if everything's going okay. But otherwise, there's not that great deal of need to chat to him, really.
Okay, and I believe Punt Hub currently manages 6 services, including the master plan, and they have a similar number currently on your casting couch, your in-house proofing for new services. I'm sure you're inundated with tipsters wanting to prove their worth to you. So how do you go about selecting those that make the first cut and get a place live testing on your casting couch?
Yeah, that's right. We we always tend to ask for any previous results a tipster may have. Can you provide us with full results or even just a month to month breakdown of what they've got? The more results they've got, the better, obviously. Even with people with results, we do tend to ask for at least a couple of weeks providing the tips to our inbox, just so we can keep a check on what time they send the tips, roughly how many tips they send a day. Do they bet, favorites, or do they bet outsiders? Do they bet each way? Is it flat stakes? All those kinds of things. I mean, I guess you could say that this is one of the things that sets Punt Hub apart from potentially other providers. I'm not 100% sure how other providers do it, but this is one of the things that we feel anyway sets us apart, because we actually try and test it and tell you as much as we can before we even put it to a live trial to our customers.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to approach it. Do you have a set time for proofing a potential service? I mean, you touched on obviously the way the service is set up and the types of bets it places, and you mentioned a couple of weeks in there as well. Is that sort of the norm for getting tips from them, or does it sort of vary from tipster to tipster?
I mean, when we first started Punt Hub, we asked all our tipsters to do a minimum 100 bet live trial. It's something that we felt was a good amount of data to at least get a good view of the service without, dragging the free trial on for sort of 6 months, if you like. We soon realised that some services could have 100 bets in 10 days or maybe even less. So these days we tend to tailor the free trial to the service, but I would say that it tends to be at least 2, preferably 3 months, just to get a good idea of what the service is, what they provide, and whether the service can actually become a successful service in the future.
Okay, and can people get access to the services whilst they're live proofing to you?
Absolutely. All of our free trials are completely available via email and via Telegram every single day. Every tipster on the casting couch has its own little sign-up box underneath. If you happen to visit the website and go to the casting couch or free trials page, you'll see that each service has a banner that's easily recognisable to that particular tipster. Underneath, there's a sign-up box to pop your email in and sign up to receive just tips from that tipster, rather than sign up to one email list and receive 15 different sets of tips every day from tipsters that you don't want to follow. We also offer all our tips via Telegram, like I mentioned. There's a Telegram link at the top of the page on the Casting Couch free trials page on the website, and the link can also be found on our Twitter profile at punt_hub. The results are updated every single day. You can view those from the website, which will help you find which service you may or may not want to follow. There's a results league table as well, which shows you performance based by return on investment. And again, all the services that we have, if they provide past results, we do link to the past results from the casting couch, so you can see those again before you sign up.
Okay, and I think I don't think it was mentioned, but www.punthub.com, would that be the correct address for people to go and find the casting couch?
It would be punthub.co.uk, Chris.
Sorry about that. So it's www.punthub.co.uk if you want to check out the casting couch. Turning back to the master plan and your other live services, obviously part and parcel of any tipping service is losing runs. Yeah, we can't get away from that. It's part and parcel of every service I've ever looked at. How do you deal with customer agitation during those dips in form?
Sometimes the tipsters actually fret more than the customers. Nobody likes losing money, and especially not losing other people money as well. And I can tell you that tipsters certainly do have feelings. I seem to recall a situation relating to the master plan actually, when the tipster had a bit of a crisis in confidence after a losing month. At the end of the day, he's still human. Everybody's still human. We had confidence that the system would still turn itself around and be a success long term. I guess he just needed a reminder.
So is that the sort of conversations you'd have with a tipster during those times when their form does dip a bit? You're almost acting as that sounding board, giving them the encouragement to obviously keep going and stick to what's worked in the past?
Yeah, it just, some people just need to, don't panic. These things do happen. Like you said, losing runs are part of the game. If it wasn't, then there would be no bookmakers, there'd be no industry. You just have to stick to your guns and keep going.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I think one of the biggest issues I hear from all the services I talk to at various times is, clients jumping ship as soon as there's a downturn in performance is one of the biggest issues they face in trying to build a long-term relationship with a client. Obviously, that's something you've no doubt experienced yourselves, but is there anything else along those lines that makes it difficult to build that relationship?
Well, I think a lot of it boils down to trust and transparency. From day one, we aim to build a platform that people can trust. I mean, I'm always at the other end of an email, and I'll always aim to email back ASAP, no matter what I'm doing or where I am. On the website, it does say that we'll email back within 12 hours. It's usually a lot less than 1 hour, and you've probably experienced this yourself, Chris.
I have. I wondered when you actually did anything else at times. There you go.
Yeah, thanks. As I touched on earlier, the results are updated daily, so nobody's pulling the wool over anybody's eyes. Everybody knows where they stand every single day, and I think that's one of the biggest things in the industry is transparency.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on there. The transparency is a key issue for both sides, I think. Now, a little bird tells me you might be a bit of a fan of the blue side of Manchester. So between your beloved city and running Punt Hub and answering emails within an hour, as we've already discussed, do you have time to indulge in any other sports, either playing or watching?
Surprisingly, I do actually. I tend to go mountain biking at least once a week with my business partner Tom, who I've already mentioned. I play pool for the local pub team and I play squash every Sunday, but I can't for the love nor money seem to win a game of squash.
You seem to have a full time, Ben. You're doing something all the time.
Yeah, yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
I like to keep busy.
Okay. And the tipping industry, as we know, is cursed with a reputation that comes from the unscrupulous rather than the genuine services out there. And with so many tipsters and tipping platforms out there competing with you, what does Punt Hub offer its members to set it above other alternatives?
Well, firstly, I couldn't agree more. Like I said earlier, transparency is everything, but I think the casting couch is really what sets us apart. It's the reason why members enjoy Punt Hub so much, because unlike other services where you get told about the winners and a trial, you know, you're very lucky to get a free trial. It's all about getting members on board and taking their money. The results you see for the trials are proved completely live in front of everybody, but obviously the first 2 weeks or whatever where we proofed it to our inbox and any previous results, all the results are there. You can sign up, you get the tips to your inbox daily, you can follow along while it's free. If it makes the money, great. You've used some of that money that you earned while it was free to join the premium service when it goes paid after a couple of months. We also send out an email every Sunday. It goes out 8 a.m. every Sunday morning, known as the Sunday Supplement. It's a weekly email that aims to provide an overview of all the services that we offer, both free and paid. It talks about the performance of the tipsters over the week. It points out the biggest or most important winner of that week. So, say a service is on a 20 bet losing streak the last couple of weeks and suddenly he hits a 4-1 winner and turns around in form, then you'll talk about the 4-1 winner being the pivotal point. So that's more important than who got, a 10-1 winner this week. So that's the Sunday supplement. It runs from Saturday, through to Friday every week, and it's sent out on a Sunday at 8 a.m. every morning.
And does that cover the free services as well as the paid for services?
Yep, it covers all our services that we offer. It talks about all the results from all of the tipsters, both the free and the paid services as well.
Okay, and finally, Ben, I can't let you go without just asking you very briefly about the service you run yourself as well, the Final Furlong.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. So several years ago, I was involved with an Irish racing service, and I sort of got to learn about the horses, the jockeys, the trainers, and who's good at doing what, and potentially line up gambles and stuff. So, well over a year ago now, I must have started my own service called the Final Furlong. It's cheap and it's cheerful. It's not the best service in the world, but it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. It's Irish racing only. Every year I pick just about one horse in every single race at Cheltenham. And I've done very well at Cheltenham for the past 2 years. Let's hope we can do it again this year. But yeah, that's a little bit about my service.
And you shouldn't underplay it, because I think, for some people, having a variety of services in a portfolio is what they're after. So a service that is specifically focused on Irish racing, is different to a general horse racing service. So, it can appeal to people in different ways. It doesn't always have to be about generating the biggest profit or the best ROI or whatever it might be, as long as it's doing a little bit of profit and it's giving people what they want in terms of a profile, then that can be equally as important as the results.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. It's definitely something different, and again, all my bets are to 1 point level stakes, be it a 1 point win or a half point each way. I prefer to keep it level rather than mix it up. I think it keeps it level headed, if you like. So yeah, it's something a bit different, and like you say, it occupies my time as well. It gives me something to do every day, and yeah, it's good.
Okay, well, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to us today, Ben. Obviously, we've heard how busy you are with what goes on day to day for you. So thanks very much for taking the time to speak to us and stepping in for Nick and talking to us a bit about the master plan. Remember, if anyone wants to read the interview given by Nick himself, then go over to www.tipstars.tips and you can read it on the page there. And just a reminder, if you want to look at the casting couch, it is www.punthub.co.uk. Thanks very much, Ben. Great speaking to you, and I hope Punt Hub and the services have a great success over the coming months.
Thank you very much, Chris. It's been a pleasure. Take care.
Thank you.